It's Need a Teacher again today. Today, we are going to talk about a very delicate subject. The world is in turmoil. Everyone wants to have their way. Almost everyone wants to go about doing what they seem right in their own eyes. The conversation starts from when we are born, so when we think we are free to do what we want. My guest here today is someone you would want to meet. If we talk about the word youth, the youth, it is his heartbeat. Uncle Amos.
Yes, boss.
Thank you first.
Well, it's an honor to be here,
Thank you.
even though I don't know what is in the waiting.
The surprises will keep us moving.
Well, I'm at peace.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Elder Amos Kevin Annan is a named a known name in Ghana. I mean, if you are between the ages of, let's say, 13 to about 40 years, some way, somehow, you should have heard his name. Uncle, just something small. Tell us a bit small. Why are you so much interested in the youth like that?
Well, I was once a youth. And so I think that my burden that relates to young people has something to do with my growing up experiences. I was born and raised in Tema.
Okay.
And those were the days in Tema where almost every place you turned was drinking sports and nightclubs and what have you. I was recently telling my daughters that they opened the first discotheque in Tema Community 4.
Oh.
And I was part of those who did the dancing competition.
I can imagine.
And I was not even a teenager at the time.
Okay.
It was a children's dancing competition, and my daughter was shocked. So when I started doing the break dance for her to see, she was like, "Oh, wow, Daddy." I said, "Yes."
Wow.
But I chose to give my life to Christ. And at the age of 10, I had already accepted Christ.
Interesting.
And took a virgin's pledge in addition. So at 30 plus, when I was married, I was a virgin. And it was a deliberate act. Not that you did not have the opportunity
to do what you wanted
to sleep around and do the things that others do and consider that to be normal. And so that kind of formation that I have gave me a burden to reach out to young people. At quite an early age of 20, started preaching to young people. And as I sit here, this year, I turned 56. And so it means that if you do the mathematics, for 36 years of my life, I have been speaking to young people, working with young people, not just in Ghana here, but it's taking me to over 24 nations of the world.
Wow.
So I say this to establish a point that sometimes people think that he's a local person and therefore
of course,
doesn't understand the global
perspective,
experiences and exposure, but I've had enough of it. And I never wish to live abroad. No.
Why?
Oh, I mean, I work for a Swedish company, and so I had the privilege of traveling a lot to Europe, particularly the Scandinavian and the Nordic countries, but I never loved to live there. One, it was too cold. Winter time in Sweden is crazy.
Okay.
Sometimes first snow is about 12 inches. And you don't want to, I don't know if you've ever seen people do ice fishing. And there's archaic water bodies that you have to drill down. I've had those experiences, gone to watch ice hockey, you know, and all those things. But I look at the depression. In the midst of plenty, people still were not themselves. And though there are opportunities to expand and to grow and to do other things, I believe as a Ghanaian, contributing to Ghana was a worthy cause. And also I moved away from my infantile mindset of marrying an African American or a white person to marrying a Ghanaian. And I'm very delighted that just yesterday we celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary.
Oh, awesome.
I'm delighted about that. That too many of us and many of our young people don't have a local root, but they want to be global. And
What's
that's
causing that?
well, I mean, it's mostly driven by social media and it's allure. And then all these glossy magazines, you see these high flying characters, we call them celebrities. Those are lives you celebrate, life you honor. I stay away from those things. I'm not a celebrity. I don't want to be one. I don't wish to be. But people follow these so-called icons and mimic them. But somebody needs to tell them that you're born original and you don't have to die a duplicate of anyone. And we see a lot of duplicates around us. And I learned this very early from Dr. Miles Monroe, that you are born original. Be careful not to die a duplicate.
You were born original.
Yeah.
Be careful not to die a duplicate.
I've seen people wearing Gucci, wearing all kinds of brands, but you notice that they are not original. I've seen MK bags in Ghana here. People throw their weight around it to showcase it. They're wearing a brand. But when you look at it, it's not the original MK.
And they are human beings like that.
Yeah. I mean, we used to play football as boys, House of Kotoko. You have to wear. I was a fan of Asante Kotoko. I stopped following football when gambling was introduced into it. I mean, when we were growing up, it used to be polls.
Yeah.
You know, they did those polls, but today the gambling thing is just nauseating. So I've stayed away from anything football, even though I used to play football myself. And as a Tikotoko fan, my brother who is behind me, Alfred, was Hearts of Folk.
Okay.
My father was Haxakis. You know, so in our home, there was no confusion. Everybody chose a team that they believe they can follow. But you know, I was a defender, so I'll wear T-shirt and write Haruna.
Okay.
Haruna used to be one of the defense backs of Asante Kotoko, right? Defense.
Yeah.
And I liked him. He wasn't so tall, and he was diminutive figure, and he had stability, and so he could tackle very well. The extreme end, I'll look at someone like Opokunti if I'm on the front line. Then we go and write it behind our T-shirts. You go and pick from Kantamanto, and then write either Haruna or Opokunti. But you are not Opokunti.
You are not.
You are not Opokunti.
How do we solve this, Menans?
I mean, I think the root of these things must be tackled, and it has to be tackled very early. Starts with young people, right from birth.
It's possible.
Oh, yes. I mean, when my wife was pregnant, I was speaking to my daughters in the womb. I have 2 daughters. I'm very glad to have 2 daughters. The older is 24, the younger is 18.
Congrats.
The older is reading fashion. The younger wants to be an architect. She's just getting ready to go to uni. But you see, when they were conceived in the womb, I was involved in an early childhood project. So we were taught how brain develops in children.
Okay.
And how you can actually stimulate children who are unborn, which we call fetus.
Yeah.
And it's not witchcraft, pure science.
Okay.
So my bonding with my children started when they were in the womb. And thankfully, when they were born, I was right there within a week. I mean, the first one, I was out of town. I was enjoying myself around the Rift Valley in Kenya, and then I missed my flight. There's a whole story to talk about that.
That's okay.
You know, and when I arrived, I went into the hospital, Rafa Medical Center, and next to my daughter was Francis Ajay, the musician.
Okay.
The daughter has also been born, and she had a strap. Baby girl Kevin Annan. So at birth, who you were was determined. But I told you I used to do some work in Sweden. And in Sweden, when you have a child, you can't put baby girl Kevin Annan. You just put baby.
Wow.
You can't say it's a girl. You leave the child to grow and choose what they become. That's the base of all our crises.
We don't have to leave the children to decide who they have to become.
You see, it's not about that one. That's vocation. That's profession. That's skill. Not that one. But who you are as a male, as a female. And if we don't train our boys to know they're boys from the get-go, they get into what they call gender dysphoria, where they are confused about who they are and where they fit. So you see a girl acting and playing like a boy, and you see a boy acting and playing like a girl.
I thought these things were natural causes.
No, they are not natural. They are actually orchestrated by persons who are doing what we call social re-engineering. I mean, unless you are not initiated in the field, then you can accept that it's just happening as a normal course. No. You use music, you use theater, you use cartoons, you use literature writings, movies, and all that to reconscientize people. And so from the get-go, parents need to get involved in the formation of the child. Fathers need to play a distinctive role in the life of the child to show them what a father looks like. Mother must model that as well. Unfortunately for us, and particularly those who are from African descent, we are suffering the same sick conditions of the African Americans. The large majority of African American home is without a father.
How do we rectify this? I mean, it's
to raise boys to be bold and brave. You see, I'm wearing Brave Boys Bootcamp
Yep.
because we decided to get boys to be brave. These days, people have heard toxic masculinity. So people are shying away from being masculine.
we have
So
to
you
be
have
boys.
so you have what we call effeminate men. And they are attractive for the movie industry, they are attractive for the music industry, they are attractive on the silver screens, and they draw traction. So we've got to get our boys to understand that, yeah, you've got to be bold, you've got to be courageous, but more importantly, let's raise boys who are believable. Now, a lot of the girls are doubting the boys around them because they're also learning a bad art of being unfaithful. Now, we start by building boys to be believable, trustworthy individuals, boys who are loyal. You know, girls normally, you don't coach a girl to be loyal
Of course not.
because women, their default is loyalty. The reason is that security and safety is the primary consideration of a woman making choices and decisions. The boy, on the other hand, is woven in such a way that he braves himself through a storm. You see, so if you don't train him as a little boy to learn to be brave, but to be believable, we'll have a problem. Then we groom him on the journey into a godly gentleman. Today, people are losing the sense of God in their lives. So they are becoming the God of their own life.
Yeah, that's true.
They put God aside until they have crisis, then they reach out to God for help. They are broken and bitter, burdened, and they think they can handle it by themselves, but you can't. There's a source, just like the plant. I mean, if this was natural, if you take it out of the soil, most plants will not grow.
That's true.
Unless it's a creepy crawling plant that can burrow its way into the surfaces, it will not survive.
Yeah.
Only those on the oasis, I mean, the desert area where you find them, they also, like the cactus and the others, they would thrive in those spaces. But majority of plants, they need to be in the soil to grow. In much the same way, all of us have a source. You didn't create yourself. You didn't bring yourself into existence. There's a self-existent one.
Yeah.
And we need to point young men to that so that their tendencies and choices will be godly. It is those that we nurture now to become men who see themselves as carrying a mandate. Because if we don't have men who have a mandate, then we are just going to have people who are just opportunistic, lazy, run away from responsibility. See the number of young girls who are getting pregnant, and you can't tell who is the father of the child. Because the boys have run away.
They can be responsible.
Irresponsible children all over.
Uncle Amos, let's bring perspective to this. Let's start from scratch. I've given birth. Baby boy. We are 6 months old now. Father, I'm 29 or say 30. I want to give myself, let's say, a 10-year plan. By the time my boy is 10 years, 6 months, this is the kind of image the world has to see him. Take us through. What would you do?
No, you see, that's fine to have,
Okay.
but you must also be flexible and create allowances for what happens along the path.
Okay.
Now, this is you. You have this child. First and foremost, you must acknowledge that that's a boy you have. I've seen parents who are wishing to have a girl and got a boy and starts dressing the boy like a girl.
Ooh.
And sometimes the things they say to the hearing of the child creates the impression that they should have rather been born a girl, not a boy. So it starts with acceptance of the child. The second thing is this. There are examples that you have picked. There are values you have picked. There are images that have been built over the period with respect to what it means to have a boy or how to raise a boy. What you need to do is to subject those images and thoughts and ideals to clear scrutiny. Then you are definite about this path for your boy. Recently, I had some conversations with some young people who were crying that their parents were choosing their professional paths and all that for them, and they didn't like it. But I showed them where it came from. Those who grew up along the coast were largely fisher folks.
Okay.
You watch, the father is going for fishing, he goes with his son. The wife is there either roasting or frying the fish. So they bring the bumper harvest.
Okay.
The mother and the daughter are always seen together. The son and the father are also seen together. Now, that became part and parcel of our primal existence, which is our original space.
Yeah.
So the carpenter's son, most likely than not, will be a carpenter. The mason's son, most likely than not, will choose after. A few got into other areas other than what their parents were doing.
That's true.
And those were not in the majority.
Yeah.
They were the exceptions.
Yeah.
Now, so it's important that we help our young people to understand some of these foundational issues.
Okay.
So that you don't need to go into a banter, a tussle with your father or mother. I went into that with my dad, and it was an error of judgment on my side.
Okay.
But I was blessed to have a mother who was wise to have helped us to keep our relationship coherent, even though we had some, bumper treks on the way. Now, that's why my daughter, when she got to the age where she needed to make a choice of the program, I asked her, what do you want to become?
A lot of parents are not asking.
I knew her competencies, thankfully. She's very artistic, and it's in our family. My brother is artistic. I did art up to O level.
Okay.
My younger brother is into graphics, he's into web design, he's into cybersecurity. The one also who is older than him is also very artistic. So it almost runs through our home. So when she said she was going to do fashion, there was no quibbling over it.
Yeah.
Because she has the talent and she has the passion. But I told her, having the passion and talent is not enough.
Okay.
You go through the formation process. This is where the grooming, this is where the nurturing, this is where the mentoring, apprenticeship. So I've always insisted When you're on holidays, find a place and go. This one is doing bridal outfits. Just go there.
Okay.
Spend that period. Another time, go to the one who's doing suit. Pick some lessons. Just be like somebody who doesn't know anything. Don't go and throw your weight about. Just learn. Be a learner. And it's help there, which is your responsibility as a parent. But when the child is predisposed to something different from what you have for them, a conversation must be had.
A conversation must be had. Many of these conversations have not been had.
Well, I mean, it's also very much family atmosphere centered. What kind of home do we have? Do we have a home where I can go to daddy and talk with him, or there's a home where we can talk with dad, we can talk to mom? And so their word is the final authority and the bond in the home. So you just tag along. Sadly, I've seen young persons who do what their parents want them to do because they have no other choice, only for them to graduate and give it to their parents. I had the privilege of working at Pentecost University for 15 years as a university's counselor, and there were a lot of students. Choice of program. They want to choose a program that says do this, so do that. Mommy too says, why don't you do the other one? The others will say, well, we don't have such a person in our family. We need you to be the one. And those tussles can be avoided.
It's true.
If only you get somebody to guide you. And I've played those roles over the years of my work. And so I think that it's about building bridges between young people and older people so that we don't lose both of them.
Is this the reason why we have so many unfulfilled potentials in this part of the world?
Oh, well, you know that somebody wanted to go and do a program in the university. There was a cutoff. They didn't get. So he says, I want to go and do teaching. They go to training college or go to nursing, go to midwifery school, but that's really not where their heart is.
Yeah.
And that could be a contributory factor. Others also follow their friends to do programs. Let's add that. That's peer pressure. My friend is doing this. I also want to do that. I mean, it's, now the in thing is photography. Everywhere, man, everybody wants to do photography. It's just too much for me now. Everybody, I want to be a photographer. And then also, when you go to the church, everybody wants to be a technical person.
Yes.
They want to be sound
Media or light.
media or light or something, you know, and so we are also losing a certain crop of young people. You know, that diversity is good, but you see, we cannot all be in the creative space.
It's true.
If all of us decide to go into the creative space, we are in trouble.
Why?
So I tell the young, I mean, how can you build a society where everybody is creative in the creative space? And what about the other sectors? I mean, you've spoken with someone who is into finance. And we need somebody in finance. We need somebody in architecture. We need somebody in medicine. We need somebody in pharmacy. We need all these shades, you know. But some of them, you can actually do it as a pastime vocation.
Okay.
It's a leisure. I have a friend who is an accountant, but she does ribbons.
Oh.
And she enjoys doing her ribbons. In fact, she makes more money from ribbons than she does in the accounting that she's
Do you think we should
practicing.
commercialize hobbies?
Oh, I mean, people are already commercializing it. They call it side gig, don't they? They're already calling it side gig. It's all over the place. Side gig. Yeah, it's my side gig. But sometimes the side gig takes a lot of their time.
I thought hobbies are supposed to be for entertainment.
Well, it's also you can have a part of it which is charity and a part of it which may be monetized. Depends on your situation and what you believe God has called you to. I mean, some people think that you design your purpose. No, you discover your purpose.
Wow.
I mean, anybody who thinks that they design their purpose, they are in a terrible space. You don't determine your purpose.
How do you discover
You
it?
discover it. I mean, how can this device here? This is a regulator for an air conditioner.
Yeah.
How on earth can this device tell itself that itself exists? The manufacturer actually put you here to play a particular role. And its design is designed because of its function.
It's designed because of its
Its
function.
function, yes. Look at this bowl here. This is a vase. The design is so because of the function it's going to play. This table here, side table, is designed the way it is for its function. So it cannot come and say, I have determined my purpose. No, 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 no. It was part of your original design. So each one of us must go to the originator of our existence. You see, it's like a puzzle. There are cues. Some of the cues may be rounded or maybe angled. Other side may be squared or octagonal in shape. And if you don't put it well where it fits, it will be odd. So you hear the famous round pegs in square holes. Nobody should be found as a square peg in a round hole because there will be spaces around it. In much the same way, the opposite or the reverse must also be avoided. So we need to now engage our young people in conversations, looking at their personality, looking at their passion, because these two are wired together. And then the talent they have. The talent they have. Because God didn't make a mistake to give them those talents. God didn't make a mistake by wiring them in the way they're wired. That boy who is very eloquent, articulate, he thinks off his feet. He looks like a satirist, a humorist, you know. It's for a reason. There's one who is very analytical, conscientious in the way he does his things. You give him a toy, he looks at it meticulously, he doesn't fall it apart. There's a reason he's the way he is. Unfortunately, a lot of parents are not painstaking with their observation of the children. And so we say, well, your brother is doing this, you to do that one. Your sister is doing this, you to do that one. It's almost like you're trying to create a certain culture where you are feeling in your blank spaces. Not considering what that child was put here to actually discharge as their duty determined by the Creator.
Transfers on unaccomplished potentials.
I mean, there used to be a gentleman in Ghana here who went to medical school, decided to leave medical school to go and sit on radio. The next moment we heard he had become a global personality on radio. And to think of it that he had to be found in BBC of all places.
Wow.
And he was a voice in Ghana here that across the world, people will hear his voice because he had a very unique voice. And his voice now became the primary product of whatever he could do in the world. But he added qualitatively to his life. See, and this is where I have problems with persons who say they are talented or gifted or graced or spiritually endowed. And they are not adding qualitatively to it. Others also are not staying consistent. A lot of people have asked me, how come you've been consistent? If you met me in 1990...
I was going to ask you.
If you met me in 1990, the things I talk about today, I started talking about them in 1990. I mean, my first video on the gay revolution in Ghana was done 26 years ago.
Imagine.
At the time, how many people were talking about those conversations? Today, they are talking about LGBT and all that. But I spoke about it 26 years ago. That's why these days I don't talk about it, because I've said what I said. If they had listened, we wouldn't be where we are right now. I was in Nigeria recently, Nigerian television, one of the networks that wanted to interview me on the subject. I said to them, well, the solution is not going after anybody. The solution is going back to the home. Because the home is the womb of society.
The home is the womb of society.
When I go to my Enugu people, they say that if you want to know the end, look at the beginning.
Wow.
So the question is this: are we looking at the beginning, the formative years of the child? Parents need to pay attention to the formation. That is why if a child suffers sexual abuse, it's very dire, because it distorts the growth pattern of the child and creates disturbance in the soul of the child. You know, so we need to put children around places where they will be safe. Worse off if they get hit in adolescence. Adolescence is even more precarious. Why? Because that's where adulthood is setting off. So parents need to work hard, and especially our boys. I mean, that's where my passion is. The reason I'm very passionate about boys is because I have daughters, so I don't have issues. Because I was in South Africa for a meeting, and there was a girl standing there, and she had a T-shirt, and in front was written, "The future is female." It's a brand T-shirt amongst the feminists. But you see, think about it. In a conference, this is a global conference, and I sat there. I saw the girl standing on the stage. She came to lead worship for us, interestingly, in that shirt. And I was asking myself, what happens to boys who are sitting and looking at her? Do they have a future? Now look around and see our boys. They look terrible. The boys look terrible. And somebody needs to hold the boy's hand and tell them, Charlie, you need to look sharp. Our boys increasingly look like gangsters. They look like street boys. I did some work in Haiti with street boys. I've been in Soweto, South Africa. Townships working with boys, black boys. I've been to Cape Town prison to speak to boys in prison. And I see our boys. They are ramshackled. And no girl, unless she is a player, would want those boys in their lives. Why? Because the women are thinking future.
How do we get our boys to this place?
So we need to get our boys to stop the fanfare and getting hoodwinked by dance hall artists and gangster movies and gangster music. No, you don't need those things. Those things should not form your life, because the moment it forms your life, it changes the dynamics of your life.
But everyone is hearing them. So why is it not affecting our girls as much as it's affecting our
boys? The girls make choices. The girls make choices. And in finance, there's something they call ring fencing. The girls actually ring fence who influences their lives, unless they choose to allow you to come into their space. But for our boys, it's almost like anything goes. I'm walking around and I'm seeing boys like 10, 12, 15 in small, small groups, and you look at all of them. They look so unkempt. How are we going to get these boys to sit at the global table to discuss with the Chinese, to discuss with the Indian, to discuss with the Japanese? When you see the JICA young people from Japan come to greet the president of Ghana, do you see how they look?
Yeah.
They command spaces. And many of our boys are not sitting upright. Go to preschool graduation.
Okay.
You see the girls, they'll mention honor roll, about 10 girls before one.
Boy.
Then 5 girls, then 2 boys. Go to primary school, into upper primary, it's the same. Go from upper primary into JHS, it is the same. Go from JHS to SHS, it is the same. Move from SHS into tertiary, it's even worse. So we need to now get our boys to remember the destinies of generations are in their bosom. So they cannot afford to do 2 things. They cannot afford to be careless. They cannot afford to be reckless. I consider a lot of them have not even seen their fathers. And also, they don't have father figures in their lives. So if you don't have a father figure in your life, who speaks into your life? And they are growing like wild bush.
We have to correct this.
Yeah, that's why these conversations are important. I mean, for me, I'm very passionate about these things because look, I've worked on almost every campus in this country, except the new ones.
Yes.
Where repeatedly, year in, year out, I'm going to campus to address different SRC meeting, this meeting. And I look at that time and now. There's something missing.
What happened?
I mean, there was a generation that didn't get mentored, and they grew by themselves. So they've hustled. You can't fault them. They hustled. They braved themselves through storms. And we call those people self-parent individuals.
Self-parent
Yeah, they grew up by
individuals.
themselves. I mean, the guy slept in somebody's shop, in front of somebody's shop, hustled, moved away from the hinterlands, and came into the cosmopolitan setting. And he's hustled. He's living with boys. There are about 10 in a room. And his whole future is survivor. And you are always in a survivor mode. So you are hoping to make ends meet. And so they clutch at anything. I was telling my daughters an incident I witnessed in a township where somebody's hand, those were the days iPhone had just come with all these fancy, features. And somebody's arm, the wrist was slashed because the guy wanted the phone in the hand.
Oof.
This is in the township in Soweto. There was a reported case of a girl wearing jeans, these tight jeans, and had her phone, and they cut it with a sharp blade, and it cut her butt because the guy wanted the phone. I mean, that's how desperate they have become. And when I see them cleaning the windscreens at the traffic lights,
Yeah, you see that.
you look into their eyes.
It's full of desperation.
So the guy walks about, he's looking for scraps, but he's not actually looking for
He's
scraps.
not looking for
He's
scrap.
looking to survive. So when he finds something which is not scrap, he will take it along.
Hi.
But you see, in the midst of all this, there are boys too who are doing great. What we need to do is that these boys who are doing great need to now be paired with these boys who are struggling.
Okay.
And they have to be told that not everybody is academically astute, but everybody is skilled proficient.
That's true.
You see, so if you are not the kind who can survive the rigor of academia, then the alternative is vocational skill.
Excellent.
I have a young man, I always share his story. He came from, I'll mention Obuasi, to Tema.
Okay.
To do shoe shine. And he was around doing shoe shine for a while. One day, I noticed he was no longer doing the shoe shine. He had started check. You know check.
Yeah,
This mayonnaise rice.
Yeah.
He had given his box on loan to another boy who was working to pay
him.
and then he will have it. And he was doing check. He had done this check. He had one joint. He set up a second joint. The next moment, he was no longer doing the check himself. He was in the house. He had bought some land and had built a small facility there. And he lived there, and that's where they produce the check. They bring it, and he bought a taxi.
Oh.
He's now a father raising children. See, he started as a shoe shine. I have another story. I used to sell chocolates. I was the largest distributor of chocolates in Tema years ago, working with one of my mentors in Mankwade roundabout. One day a boy walks into my office and says, "Chief, I need shoe shine box." And I know how desperate these boys who are on drugs, anything, you give it to him, you go and sell it just to cure his turkey. I looked at this boy and I said, "You go and come in 3 days' time." Then I decided to go and process one of the boxes for him. Years later, I was traveling to Sweden and I needed a cheaper ticket because it was peak season.
Okay.
And I was not getting cheap tickets. So somebody directed me to the Spinkters Road. There was a ticketing facility. I entered the facility and I see a young man in a white shirt with a black tie, smiling. I didn't know what it was because I'm a public figure, so people can smile at you. Just smile and go. So I introduced myself to the lady at the front desk and said, oh, this is what you, the last of this kind of rate has just been taken. I said, what? I need to go in less than a week. Please help me. He said, okay, you see the young man there? She pointed at the fellow who
He
smiled.
smiled at you.
Then said, go to him. I get there and he stands up, welcomes me and gives me a seat. I sit. So you will not recognize me.
It's always that way.
And I said, oh, I'm not trying to even recognize who you are because I meet too many people in a week. And then he said, you remember somebody came to your shop, Gillipes, at Mankwadi Roundabout for a shoe shine box? I said, yes. He said, I'm the one. You know what he had done? He went to aviation school in Committee 3. And today he's one of the lead persons in this ticketing facility. And I'm in the hard place. He said, oh, your issue is no issue. Apparently, they have something they call protocol tickets, and it was left to that. And he said to me, I'll take 60% of the cost of your ticket. You just pay 40%.
Shoe shine box.
He started with shoe shine. That's why I talk about consistency. Look, a lot of the young boys are looking for opportunity. You start and you have to earn $1 million. That's crazy. Sorry, but I know this is a podcast. It is phantomable. It's fancy. How many young people want to make $1 million under 40? See the crisis they're having. 18-year-olds want to ride in a car, Mercedes. 22, you want to be in a vehicle, you want to have a Range Rover. Is that how it happens?
No.
So somebody needs to tell these boys. I was watching Floyd Mayweather. He has his own aeroplanes. But look at him. He's not like some of the guys who have dollars and they lie in the dollars.
No.
Many of our boys, that's what they see. He has a lot of earrings all over his body. Look, I used to work with young boys who were from the goth. You know the goth?
Yeah.
Skinheads.
Yeah.
They have what we call melancholy emotions, dark emotions. In Sweden, their clothes is black. They have spikes all over, metals. I've seen people with 90% of their body tattooed, permanent.
It came from somewhere.
But you see, these young boys, when I look at them, what they were looking for was hope, and they didn't find.
How do we give them?
And so there are 3 things I tell the young people. And I'm a Christian, unapologetically Christian. 1 Corinthians 13:13, he says there are 3 things that abide: faith, hope, and love. And he says the greatest is love. Years ago, somebody played the music. Love is the message, and the message is love. We didn't even know what he was talking about. There are a lot of music with themes that run around love, and that love is sex. But love is not sex. The fact that you love somebody does not mean you sex them.
Yeah.
And love has nothing to do with sex. Because you see, a lot of guys offer you intimacy, making you think that is love. And many girls want to be intimate, and that comes through conversation. So I'm sitting here, I'm intimate with God, but I haven't had sex with God. So you can be intimate with someone without necessarily having sex with them. And it's not about touching, because touch is always an advantage and a weapon for a man.
That's true.
Any girl who allows a man to touch her, you become attached to the man. You can break free. Because there's a hormone called oxytocin that bonds you to the man.
Yeah.
And that gets triggered when you're attached. So people should be taught. And these things, people go and sit in school, they just learn the basics and run away, and they're on social media, they watch reel after reel, reel after reel. Look, the algorithm of the reels are made to make you always hold on and want to watch more.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is why those of our young people in Africa must be taught that the TikTok the Chinese have is not what we have in Africa. That's why the US government is against it. They've been fighting tooth and nail to ensure that American business people would have stake in the TikTok in America so that the values of the state can be pushed through. There's nobody who works in the European Union who uses TikTok. You are not allowed.
Wow.
Nobody who works in public sector does that. In the US, no. But why is it that people are doing it here? There's no restraint. I was reading about Japan, Singapore. They're taking decisions about children and how they have access to smartphones. Ghana, have you heard the conversation?
No, it's not
Have you heard
happening.
any African nation talk about it?
This is where we are having it.
After the horses have bolted, that's when the African government will wake up and say, hey, let's do something for our youth. And that has been a damaging space for our young people. And so I'm very passionate about these things, and I am pleading that those who are watching this, we go back to the foundations. How we relate with each other should not be taking advantage of each other. And so the love conversation must be had well.
Okay.
The second one is the faith conversation. Look, you cannot say you don't believe in anything. Even not believing in anything is itself a belief system.
Yeah.
You know, so you must believe in something. The question is, what is it that you believe in? We have to get our young people to begin to believe in themselves as well. These days, you hear a lot of people say, oh, I want to be me. I want to be me. What does it mean? That thing started from Hollywood.
Yeah.
And Hollywood stars started saying they want to be me. And they say they're looking for a niche. My wife has a background in marketing. So when she was doing her marketing studies, I was reading all her books. You want to have a brand, but every brand has a proposition.
Yeah.
What does your brand propose? You call it a niche, that's fine.
Yeah.
But also, not just faith and love, but there's also hope. The most dangerous person on earth that I've seen is a young person without hope.
Without hope.
Because they are capable of doing any and everything. Look, they can set this building ablaze because they know they will lose nothing. Do you know why we have a lot of people in the Galamsey? Because they don't see hope. And our politicians are just dancing around it, and they will dance around it. See how our water bodies have become so poisonous. And this is not the end. So we need to now give young men and women a certain sense of hope. Otherwise, this deja vu is taking us nowhere. And this is where I think that the church, the home, must work together.
How do we merge that?
I mean, we live in a nation where one of my Swedish friends, one day we were on the Tetekwashi Street, he said, Amos, Ghana is an interesting country. The taxis are born again, not the drivers. Because you see the people, the way they drive. Just drive past somebody and then they gesticulate at you. Then they give you a middle finger. They do all those kinds of things. And when the car goes by you, you see the sign. Jesus is the only way to heaven. We get to the red light, is on, and the person, instead of stopping, accelerate and drives past. Try and bring his attention to, get off my back. This same person on Sunday, or maybe on Saturday, if it's an Adventist, I have a lot of Adventist friends, would go and sit in church. Or if it's a Muslim, on Friday he goes to the mosque.
Yeah.
If it's a traditionalist, they go to the shrine. So we have a lot of people with religiosity, but many of us are not living our faith.
Wow.
And so the home and the church must team up to help form the society. One is giving the human side of nurturing.
Yeah.
The other is giving the values part of nurturing. My company is called Hearts and Habits Foundation because we believe that until the heart of a person is transformed, their habits will never change.
Yeah.
I've been trained in behavior change communication. I know how to communicate clearly to young people, but that is not enough because all the things that happen to a person are buried in your heart. And the heart is the essence of you. Murder is from the heart.
Yeah.
Cruelty is from the heart.
Yeah.
Love is also from the heart. So we now have to train people how to manage their heart.
Out
Today, you
of
hear
the
a lot of
hearts.
people talk about emotional health and all that. Why is it so? We're talking about emotional intelligence. Why is it so? Because we've seen somebody who rises very high academically, professionally, but has very weak character. No ethical considerations. They don't think of others. They just think of themselves and themselves and themselves only. And I ordered this from the US. It's a movie. It's called The Forge.
Okay.
Now, what I didn't want was just to have a movie. So this is a whole study. In fact, they've just released the novel of it. And this is the curriculum.
For the movie.
Yeah, there's a young man who started off life without hope, being raised by a single mother. It's by the Kendrick brothers.
Okay.
I need caring adults to pay attention to the boys. About 3 weeks ago, 2 boys walked into my compound and said, Uncle, yepe juma. We want to work.
Yeah.
And they are all under 15 years. I asked them, why are you not in school? Say, Mommy says Onisika. Mommy says, so clearly, once they don't talk about daddy
Daddy's not
likely to be a single mother.
Yeah.
So I told them, when you go, you can sweep my compound. I'll give you something to eat. So I prepared a meal for them to eat. Then I gave them money to go. But I told them they have to go to school. And I showed them why it's important, because it gives you an avenue to be exposed.
Okay.
You see the world in different ways.
Okay.
You appreciate different gifts and talents. You also build a network of friends. Tomorrow, your classmates will be somewhere and they will mention your name.
Yeah.
So I told them to bring their mothers to me the next day at 10 a.m. It's been 3 weeks.
They are not back.
I haven't seen them. I haven't seen their parents.
Why won't they come back?
I'm sure when they got there, mommy will say, oh, I went here. I'm just guessing. I went here. That is how we have treated opportunities that come our way. Thomas Edison, who is repeated with a light bulb, had done it over 900 times and he was asked to stop, and he said he won't stop. The statement is said that one day he was asked, why won't you stop? He said, if for nothing, I've done it for 900 plus times. So I know how not to get bob. But he says something quite provocative. He says, opportunity comes our way and we run away from it, or we avoid it because it comes dressed in overalls and looks like hard work. There are so many of us in this land who are afraid of hard work. I met a Chinese physicist who worked in the China nuclear facility in Sweden years ago. And he said that he was in his 60s, 60 plus. He said for over 40 years of his life, he slept 4 hours. And it had not killed him. And he shared with me how he has a strict regime of discipline on himself. So there are places you won't find him. There are certain foods he doesn't eat. There are certain things he doesn't put into his body. He has strict nap regime for himself. He has regime for rest. And he told me he does something. There are times all he does is just to think.
Just thinking.
He can spend like 2 hours thinking. And he doesn't just think. He has a notepad. And the thoughts that are streaming through his head, he will just be writing it down. I looked at the man and I said, this man is saying something which really is practical.
Yeah.
You know, I started doing it.
Oh.
A lot of the things we do, you will see they are original. I don't take what others are doing and do it. And they come from my thinking. I just take my notepad, sit under my summer hat, and I'm just drawing from my thoughts. And the Spirit of God just inspires those thoughts. Sometimes I'm sleeping in the middle of the night, 2:30, 3. I just wake up. I have a notepad by my bed with a pen on it. and ideas just come. I just write it and put it down. Yesterday, I posted 25 lessons plus one that I've learned 25 years in marriage. Every week, I do a broadcast to 5,000 people. It's not big, but I like it because these are heads of churches, pastors' wives, young men and women who are professionals that I've met when they were younger, and today they are all like married people and all that. And I have a platform where we have 418 couples, which we have mentored for the past 10 years.
Wow.
And you know, these 25 lessons, do you know when I started writing them?
When?
Last year.
Oh.
Since last year, I started writing lesson one since we got married, because I knew we'll be 25 this year. Why don't I write something creative from what I have seen? Because a lot of the young people, nobody's sharing their stories and lessons about life with them. So they think their kind has never existed before.
Good.
You know me, I went to Koforidua Sectec, and Koforidua Sectec is a very nice place to go. It's one of the best places you can have in this land. People have issues with Sectec, but it taught me how to be robust. And it also taught me how to be righteous.
Uncle Amos, 1 hour reverting discussions. Thank you. There's a program coming up. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I think I saw
if
it.
even I didn't talk about it, I'll be fine.
No, someone will watch this and he will say, no.
All right. Okay.
I will have to meet this one.
So since 2015,
okay,
I was burdened with the issues of boys, and we started what we call mobilizing males.
Okay.
When it started, it was it's a day's event. When it started, it was exclusively a meeting for men and boys,
Okay.
fathers and sons,
Right.
uncles and nephews. So those were the people who were allowed to come in.
Okay.
The idea was to discuss masculinity issues,
Okay.
to discuss sexuality issues, to discuss issues of integrity,
Okay.
to discuss service, and many other themes with these men and boys. Because what I realized was that a lot of the young boys were not benefiting from experiential learning through relationship with older men. And we started this. It's a day's event. It's usually between 3 to 3.5 hours on a Saturday. But then we also realized that on the 19th of November is usually International Men's Day.
Yeah.
So either we do it the week before or the week after, depending on where the 19th actually falls. And so this year, we're doing the 10th edition of Mobilizing Males. The last edition was Take Off the Mask. Because a lot of men are told, man up. And the moment you tell a man to man up, they mask up.
They already men.
Because, no, what they do is they hide their original battles. Already men are told you can't cry, you can't show weakness, you can't do this. So they don't know that a man who can't show weakness has a problem and must be helped. A man who cannot shed tears has a problem and must be helped. Because a lot of men are walking around with damaged emotions. And your emotional part is a very critical part to your existence. And so at these meetings, we bring these men and the boys to come. And it's a free event. We don't take money from anybody to come. My friends support. But this year, we've chosen this one, Better Man.
Oh.
And this design was done by Michael J. Danso.
Oh, okay.
Who saw me and said, your shirt is nice. But it's the brain behind this design with the Dinkra symbol that communicates life's tortuous journey that requires robustness, resilience, and versatility to survive and all that. So this year we're looking at Towards a Better Man. And it's a project I set for myself. With all that I have done, I still thought that I can still be better. And so when we're discussing, we settled on it.
Okay.
You know, I'm on City on Saturdays. We
Yeah.
have a program called Farm Life, which I have done for close to 10 plus years with my friends. And those friends of mine, we set for ourselves what we call a Better Me project. That was the very first project we set for ourselves when we started the City Farm Life project.
Okay.
And so for me, I go back to my nursery days. Good, better, best. May I never rest until my good is better and my better
best.
So this year we chose better, not best, but best maybe sometime. But
Yeah, it's good to start from somewhere.
And it's on Saturday, the 15th of November.
Oh, okay.
And it's at 3:30 p.m.
Great.
The venue is in Tema. It is the Pentecost International Worship Center.
Okay.
That's why I go to church. So my pastor graciously gave us the venue. We actually rotate the venues. Okay. It's been done in Harvest Chapel. It's been done in ICGC. It's been done in other non-Christian setting as well. It's open to everyone.
Okay.
But from now, we have allowed women to come.
Why?
The reason is this, that we saw, unfortunately, that a lot of women are living with men as if they are living with another woman. And that's fatal. Because men are not women. So you have issues like, don't you see I'm tired? Men won't see unless you tell them. A lot of women are expecting the men to read their emotions and moods. Men are not natural readers of moods because they don't have those monthly shifts. A man runs no calendar. The woman runs a calendar. So you cannot live with a man as if you're living with a woman. And secondly, it was also because a mother, one of the years, wanted to come with her 3 sons. And I told her, Mom, you can't enter because this is exclusively male. And she had these 3 boys. She was coming. We held it at ICGC Miracle Temple in Tema. And the church is done in such a way that the backside of the church, that's where the lactating mothers sit. So when you go outside the main church, the mothers sit there and they are speakers so they can hear this. Not knowing the woman, when she was exiting, she could hear us. And she decided to sit down. So she left her sons with me. And then after, I was walking out with the boys, only to find her sitting there. Says, Martiningina. You know, when she said Martiningina to wait, I've heard everything. I said to myself, oh. Then I heard distinctively the voice of the Holy Spirit say to me, if these boys turn out wrong, you'll be responsible. I said, man. And thankfully, the woman has been bringing the boys. I'm hoping that this year she'll come. The only one she couldn't attend was one we did at ATTC, Kokomlemle, the dome, which is there, That's where we did the take off the mask. And so we're hoping the gates will be open. People who want to have products displayed, we have given them access if you want, but you first must let us know. We don't want things to come there. And we're going to have Dr. CJ Bachman. He's a men's coach. My own spiritual mother would also be there. Mama Angela Carman Apia. We'll have Pastor Adeline Mensah. Mayfia Ejay Danso, who is Michael's wife. We're going to have a special conversation. It's a panel conversation to be anchored by JJD of Sunny FM. And it is themed Better Men Relating Well with Females. Because where I sit, there's too much suspicion between men and women.
True.
Too much mistrust. And it should not continue. And if that is not to continue, we must take deliberate steps. And so they will have that conversation. Dr. C.J. Bachman will speak about the theme. Michael Ejay Danso would also be speaking to the young people on choosing mentors, the whole issue of mentoring. Those are short conversations. And I will also speak about few good men.
Wow. Everyone
few
has to
good
be
men. Those are just like 5-10 minutes
That's okay.
pep talk. But CJ would deal with becoming a better man. I mean, that better man thing. How are you going to become better? If you are in a bad state, how do you lift yourself out of the bad state to becoming better. And there is room for everybody to become better.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's the largest room that exists.
Thank you.
So it's Saturday, 15th
Okay.
November, 3:30.
3:30.
It's Pentecost International Worship Center, Tema, Community 7.
Okay.
It's on the Konfanoche Street,
Okay.
opposite the Subin Valley Complex.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Uncle Amos.
I'm blessed.
Wow. You have to watch this conversation for our boys, for our girls, for our parents, for our fathers, for our mothers. I've been blessed by it so much. Uncle Amos, thank you. Thank you for honoring our invitation to join us talk. And I know these conversations will go a long way to, change our perspective and our mindset about how we live. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's become better.
Thank you. See you again next time.